Hello, everybody, and welcome this morning to my chat here. I'm Hollie Power here on the Timely appointment booking software page, talking to the wonderful Millie Kendall in our live video today. Morning, Millie. Thank you so much for being here with us. Now, I'm just going to make sure that we are streaming live and everything is going right on the Timely page. How are you this morning, Millie?
I'm exhausted. Yesterday's announcement wore me out a little bit, but what's new? We'll be open soon. I can have a nice massage, a facial, and get my nails done. I'm quite happy about that.
Excellent, excellent. Right, I'm just making sure that we're showing up live at the moment. Here we go. Yep, we are live. Excellent, excellent. And thank you for everybody that's joining me. First of all, a little bit of an introduction. Of course, we're here on the Timely software booking appointment page. I'm Hollie Power. I'm the co-founder of Salonology, and I work with my friends here at Timely to come and host some of their live educational videos out to their community. And we're really, really excited to have the wonderful Millie Kendall with us this morning. Now, if you don't know anything about Millie, let me give you a brief overview. Millie has a very wonderful history in our sparkling industry. She's been in the industry since she was 13. She's brought huge brands over from the US to the UK. She started the Ruby and Millie makeup line, and she works in association with Anna-Marie Solovey, who is the she's the ex-editor of a beauty editor of Vogue.
Beauty director, yeah. I'm still impressed you say her name so well.
Oh, thanks, Millie. Thanks. I got to speak to Millie a couple of weeks ago as well, and I researched the name because I wanted to make sure I said it right. We're here today to talk about Millie's current role, which is CEO of the British Beauty Council. And they're recently commissioned, with support of Timely as well, their wonderful report, the Courage to Change report. And that's what we're here to talk about today. And I'm super, super excited to dig down into this with you, Millie, because this is a report that not just people in industry should be reading, but really everybody should have a hold of this report. And you very, very kindly made this available for free for people to read. It's an incredibly comprehensive report on sustainability in our industry, on our planet, and how we can partake in the journey to having a greener industry for everybody and for the future of our planet and for our children and our children's children. So Millie's very kindly agreed to come on and chat to us about it today. Millie, of course, I've read the report. It's quite shocking.
I think that's the sort of, that's the, God, the thing for me is, I'm not an environmentalist. This isn't my sort of area of expertise, but obviously there is an emergency. We have a climate emergency. And so it was really important for us to, even throughout COVID, to continue with this piece of work. And I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was visibly shaken by the results here.
Yeah.
And we really did want to kind of look at what the industry was doing well, what we could do that could benefit the sector, but also what the consumer wanted and what the consumer's thoughts were. Because one of the things that really concerns me is consumer perception of our industry.
Yeah.
Because you oftentimes, I find that the consumer thinks we are over-consuming, we are damaging the planet, there's too much plastic in our, in our products. And obviously there is a challenge with trust when you're an industry that's seen to greenwash.
Yeah.
So it was really important for us to sort of go through sort of step by step, the industry, manufacturing, what the consumer temperature was, what people are feeling, and how they perceive us, and then what action we can take to kind of make sure that we're sort of we've really got a sort of clear pathway to sort of ensuring that our industry is on a journey in terms of race to net zero, because that is vital. You know, we've
Yes.
got to keep the global temperature below 1.5
Yeah.
degrees centigrade Celsius. Is it Celsius or centigrade? I can't remember, because I'm half American. I never know which one it is. Centigrade, Celsius.
I think it's Celsius. I think,
Is it?
but I'm not
Is that
100%
the
sure.
modern way of saying it? Which one's the
I'm pretty
metric
sure.
way of saying it? Can't remember.
If somebody in the audience can help us out, that'd be brilliant. What inspired the project of this report, Millie?
Well, I mean, I think the British Beauty Council, when we first set it up, our roadmap has always really encompassed certain reports into certain areas of the industry that we felt were challenging. I mean, that can be, obviously the valuation is very important. Sustainability is incredibly important. You know, careers, recruitment, reputation, regulation, mental health and well-being. I think there are some obvious challenges that the industry faces in terms of its reputation, and this is one of them. And you know, and obviously coupled with that, there is this dire emergency that we're facing. So I think that was mainly, you know, this has always been part of what we'll do.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. The first part of the sustainability piece is climate change, and then we'd like to look at a commercial imperative to become sustainable. So looking at what the benefits are for industry, so brands, salon owners, etc. And then we'll also look at things like equality, profitability, because I think sustainability is quite a large topic. It's quite a vast topic, but climate change was definitely the first step for us. And strangely, it aligned with what the government are doing in terms of we're hosting COP26 next year, which is the sort of UN conference on sustainability and environmentalism. So it sort of has fallen quite nicely in terms of timing, in line with the government initiatives. Yeah, I mean, what you know, that I've got 2 children, and I would like the planet to be a safe place for my children, my grandchildren, and beyond, as I think we all would.
When you first received a copy of the report, Millie, what did you find the most shocking statistic? What was it that really scared you the most?
Oh God, what didn't scare me the most? I mean, 56% of people don't recycle their bathroom waste. That's pretty appalling, isn't it? I think that, oh goodness, that's so difficult because there's so many amazing stats in there. I mean, 1 in 5 people don't know how to check credentials. 1 in 3 people don't understand ingredients. 90% of Gen Z want their brands to do more. I mean, there are so many. 88% of people want to be able to refill their cosmetics. 91% of people want less packaging. 86% want information about ingredient supply chains. You know, we need to be, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm necessarily surprised with the data in terms of the data. I think, you know, 96% of people believe their own actions make a difference. You know, I think that they're quite, when you start to read it, it's quite obvious, isn't it? You know, that the consumer wants more and we're not doing enough, right? Those 2 things marry, obviously, very obviously, throughout the report. I don't know necessarily if I was shocked by any individual stat. It was just the amount of information and the amount of stats, and it just confirmed exactly what I felt, that we overconsume, we aren't transparent enough, we are guilty of greenwashing, our marketing terminology needs to change. We need to be transparent, we need to be honest, we need to be clear with the consumer, because that's what they are demanding. And quite frankly, if we don't do that, we're going to lose them. So that's super important.
There's a change in the mindset of younger generations now, where they're more educated about the future of the planet. They are more aware of the impact plastic's having on the planet. I just wanted to share, for the sake of the audience and people who haven't yet had the opportunity to read the report themselves, although I absolutely implore them to do so, I just wanted to pull out some of the statistics just to share how important these are. Now, there's 14,000 tons of sunscreen collected in the world's reefs each year. If current levels of consumption continue, by 2050, there will be 12 billion tons of plastic in landfills. That's the equivalent to 35,000 Empire State Buildings. Every year, 120 billion units of packaging are produced by the beauty industry. It's just insane.
Yeah.
British people use 1.1 billion wet wipes a year, and each wet wipe takes 100 years to decompose.
That's just astonishing, isn't it?
I know.
I actually have goosebumps as you're speaking. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And this was the one that got me the most. In fact, I said to Ryan, what was happening in the world 1,000 years ago? And he said, well, it was kind of medieval times 1,000 years ago. And I said, well, imagine if they'd had plastic pots full of moisturizer back in medieval times, they would still be around now.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have decomposed. Now that's just crazy, and it's insane. And we are just creating.
We're sitting on a time bomb. Yeah, we're sitting on a time bomb. And but you know, the thing is that unless we collectively do something, we're not going to make enough change. So change needs to happen through courage, I believe personally. So in the title, The Courage to Change, it was because on the calls that we had and the briefings and the think tanks and the lead up to this, it takes a lot of courage to say, look, I've done something wrong. I need to fix the problem. You know, we're not going to be able to overnight get rid of the amount of plastic we have floating around. But what we can do is look at recycling. We can look at being more responsible as consumers. I mean, it's not just the industry, it's consumers that need to take responsibility. So it is a bit of a two-way street. And I think that the consumer wants to be more responsible. They just don't know quite how. Like, for example, if you buy, let's just see if I've got anything on my shelves, but if you buy, I don't know, a body cream with a pump on it, most people don't know which bits can be recycled and which can't. And where, you know, there's the pump, there's a tube that goes into the bottle, there's a bottle itself, there's the ferrule, you know, the thing that screws the pump to the bottle. There's so many different parts of it that I don't think that we've made it very easy for people to recycle properly. And then also, because our products are quite small, a lot of times when they go to a recycling plant, they're going to fall through the machinery anyway, because you know the machinery is not created to recycle products of that ilk. So you know, the whole thing is kind of a little bit of a mess, and it needs clearing up. But the first step is to come together to create a coalition to discuss these challenges properly, to look at the mistakes we're making, and to be very transparent with the consumer about it. And then partner with the consumer to be able to take proper action. Because if we don't all work together, we're not going to sort this problem out.
No. And the word that you used, obviously, with courage, it's the courage to take the responsibility now, isn't it? And to say, you know, we're fighting at the moment for our industry, and you are, you know, spearheading a lot of that, which I know the industry is incredibly appreciative of. And, you know, we need to ensure not just that our businesses stay strong, but they stay strong on a planet that we can sustain and move forward with. Otherwise, we're just fighting a losing battle. There's so many different elements to this, isn't there? It's not just simply, we need to think about recycling. We need to think about the sustainability of our businesses within this planet on an industry that can contribute in a positive way.
Yeah, we're by no means the worst contributor to the environment. So I don't want to sort of like, you know, create a problem where there isn't one. We do contribute, and there are certain areas where we don't perform well, but there are also, I think our carbon emissions are quite low, even though our consumption is quite high. So there are certain areas where we're not even on the top, you know, that we're not even in the top 10 of industries that kind of that impact the environment in a very bad way. So we are certainly not the worst. But there is still a long way to go. And yes, I think during COVID, we've had a real opportunity to look at our businesses and our business practices. And I think that we can do better. And we can be a leader in terms of our impact on the planet, which is kind of the way I would sort of frame it. It's not about us being on the back foot and going, oh my God, look what we've done. This is awful. Let's try and fix some of it. Let's try and be a leader and show other industries how to you know, change, to have the courage to change. Because if we can lead on this, look, we've been a leader in terms of animal testing, for example.
Yeah.
Right. We abolished that. We've been a leader in terms of that. We saw something we wanted to change. We microbeads is another thing. We abolished the use of microbeads. We can really lead on a lot of these initiatives. We don't have to constantly be on the back foot making excuses for why we use plastic. Recycle your bathroom waste. What is it? 56% of people don't do it. Why not?
Yeah.
And then you've got 41% of consumers feel guilty about their environmental impact. Well, don't feel guilty. Just recycle your bathroom waste. It's really simple, isn't it?
Do you think that people are, and you do actually touch on this in the report, that people are confused about on all different levels? So do you think as an industry, we have a responsibility to start educating our clients on that with the products that we're supplying?
Yeah, I do. I think there's a number of things, isn't there? I think we just need to be really honest with ourselves. If you are a salon, for example, we're facing a real problem with water. So, how much water are you using? How can you resolve that? Is it, do we need to have people at the backwash for as long as we have them, shampooing and conditioning their hair? There are ways of maybe trimming down the time and the amount of water that we're using. So there are teeny little things that we can do. I think that we need to be talking to our customers, clients about this constantly, really. I think that if you are selling a product in a store, when the store's open next week, I think we have a responsibility to our clients to say, are you recycling your products responsibly?
Yeah.
When you have your hair done and you go to pay and you're like, oh, I really like the shampoo or conditioner. If I was a receptionist, I would be saying, do you want to bring back your other, shampoo and conditioner, and we'll take care of the recycling for you, or offer some sort of like add-on service to just help the process, make the client think about it at the point of sale. There's always been this sort of thing of, at the point of sale is that moment where you engage with your client, isn't it? That sort of, you're taking money off people. There's a real exchange of ideas at that point when somebody pays, both in store or in a salon. At that point of transaction, I think it's really important to bring this up. Get people thinking about it, so that when they go home, they think, God, that was really interesting what she said to me about bringing back my shampoo or conditioner. Maybe I'll just recycle them at home, or maybe I will bring them back, or maybe I'll go to the salon, bring back what I've, my old shampoo and conditioner, and buy something new from them. It gets people thinking about the journey, the product journey,
and they're taking a piece of your education home with them as well. And you're on that journey with them. I mean, Millie, there'll be a lot of salon owners in the audience right now who are saying, do you know what, right now, all I've got to deal with is just getting my business over COVID and my financial recovery path. And they feel that maybe this is something they can't take on. What would you say to a salon owner at the moment who felt that was a block for them?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the pieces of work that we're trying to sort of organise with government is a sort of report into what green recovery looks like, because I think right now I think green recovery will be the best form of recovery. I think you'll find that your clients and consumers there's a commercial imperative to go green. Yeah. It might feel like it's a bit of an expensive way of recovering, but I think the long-term profitability will become apparent. I think that's important. I think that don't be short-sighted. This is what people want. The consumer wants it. The numbers are, 90% of people want clearer information on how to recycle products when finished. This is what your clients are going to want. And you have to sort of almost look to the future, 2-3 years down the line. They might not know they want it yet, but trust me, this is coming, and this is coming quickly. And, look at where we are now since, the Greta Thunberg and all the sort of activism around climate.
Yeah,
and
the
where our
Paris
kids
Agreement
have
and
been.
yeah.
You know, my daughter, who's 13, took off quite a few Fridays on the trot to go and campaign and to,
Yeah.
you know, in central London when you could. This is what they believe in. You know, the kids are buying vintage clothes. They don't want to buy new. Fast fashion, bit tricky at the moment because people want vintage. They understand that it's being taught at school, you know, the impact of denim, the manufacturing of denim, and how bad for the environment is, how much water is used in creating, you know, a pair of jeans. So this is being sort of indoctrinated into our children. So, and they are your future consumer. So
Absolutely.
I think you have to really future proof your business and be
Yeah.
future ready. I think that you might, if you go back to the same practices as you had before COVID, I think that I feel it's quite short-sighted. And like I
Definitely.
said, I'm not coming to this from a sort of godly, you know, environmental standpoint. I'm coming to this from somebody that has just spent the past 6-7 months working with researchers on this, and it's changed my life, you know, literally changed my life.
I mean, even just reading the report has a profound impact on how you feel, 100%. And I think you're 100% right in what you say about the future of our industry and how it needs to adapt to work with these new incentives that are in place and these new initiatives, because you know, everybody that's watching this probably has a salon of some description, and they're looking to the future. This year has given them a chance to pause, reassess their business, look at where they're at, look at what the future brings. I know there's a lot of discussions around brands at the moment and bringing new brands in, brands that have shown up for them or not shown up for them through COVID. How are the brands responding to this report, Millie? Are they starting to, I know you've mentioned a few of the brands within there, like a L'Oreal and some initiatives they're taking on.
Yeah, I think
Is
a lot
there
of
much of a
the
response?
I think, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the corporates have done some amazing things. And I think that, Unilever, L'Oreal, a lot of the big organizations are very committed to this. It's a lot harder for them to move the dial because they're obviously very large, and it's, you know, it's like they're the Titanic, and, you know, here you are on a jet ski, you know, you can maneuver a lot faster. So it'll take them a little bit more, maybe a little bit longer, but they are definitely very committed, and they have got a lot of research of their own. But it's also incredibly difficult for them to promote it on a brand level because they tend to promote their sustainability credentials on a corporate level, so it might not be necessarily on your radar. And the smaller brands, a lot of the direct consumer brands particularly, have a very large voice in this area. New brands are launching all the time. I think what's really positive is, I would say 80% of them are launching with sustainable credentials. So that's great. So they're starting off on the right footing. Like I said, it's a lot harder to change when you've had decades or centuries of existence, you know, without this. We are, I have a presentation that's being made to our board about the formation of a sustainable beauty coalition that will go live next year, that will be inviting these organizations to sit around the table and discuss what our roadmap is in terms of sustainability moving forward. But that's a whole piece of work in itself, just the formation of that coalition. Because the thing is that, like I said, unless we're all sitting around the table kind of all agreeing to what that looks like, what you can't do is I can say, I think we consume too much, but what I don't want is also the bottom line of our entire industry to be affected. So how do we balance responsible consumption with these companies still being afloat and still being profitable? Because that's very important. So it's about, is it about refills? What is the way forward? What are we going to propose? And whatever it is has to be industry wide. It can't be one company's initiative, because that again doesn't work, because then it starts to look untrustworthy. It starts to look like one organization has a commercial imperative to knock out the competition. That's not what we want. We want sustainable practices across the board that are a positive change, but also we're allowing the consumer to support what we're doing.
Yeah.
I just think it's really important that everyone works together. I just don't think it works if one organization goes off on a tangent. And some might find it easier than others. So how do we support each other?
Well, this is it, isn't it? And I think there is, like we sort of discussed a little bit earlier, Millie, there's so many people who maybe feel, oh, I'm so small, I'm not having enough of an impact. If I make a change, it's not going to make a difference. So why do I need to bother? But actually, everybody working together is what is going to create that big change. And there is, like you say, a huge desire for people to have more education on what is recyclable and how they use these products. There's good news in the report as well. 70% of people are using less water. 1 in 7 have changed to more sustainable beauty products in the last 3 months. They want companies to use less packaging and display clearer information. A third of consumers will pay more for sustainable palm oil or substitutes and refillable containers. So, the desire is there. And the industry is there to provide it. It just has to take a bit of time to filter through, doesn't it? But
I think there's a lot of guidance in here for consumers, and I think it's really important also for consumers to read this.
100%.
Maybe, and I hate to say, don't print it out, please, because that goes completely against everything that's in there. But if you do have, clients coming into the salon, maybe make this available on an iPad, so while they're having their hair done, they can read it. I think it's really important that we show our best side. We want this. Obviously, we want this. The consumer wants this. Maybe we don't have all the solutions in terms of how to get there, but it's a starting point. And I think we have to, it's about putting one foot in front of the other, isn't it? And getting things moving in the right direction. And I do think that, 90% of people believe their own actions make a difference. That's not just a consumer. That is all of us. We know that what we do makes a difference, whether it be on the tiniest level. Maybe it's changing all your light bulbs, maybe it's ensuring that at the backwash you have recycling bins. Maybe it's you choose to serve, coffees and teas in paper cups, not plastic cups, whatever it might be. Make those little changes, maybe, don't know if it's even possible that receipts come in recyclable till rolls, or I don't know, just little
emailable
things.
Receipts are something.
Email, absolutely. I've never really understood when people go, "Oh, here's your receipt." I don't know. I just put it in the bin.
What am I going to do?
Even if you ask that's such a sort of simple thing, isn't it? Do you want the receipt emailed to you?
Yeah, of course. And I think as well, following these sorts of initiatives and putting them in place in your business, it's never going to turn a client away. No client's never going to come and say, oh, they're recycling there, I don't like that. It can only put your business in a positive light. So there really is no negative attachment to it, other than people might have that resistance of, I don't want to make the change. And that's where the courage comes in, to own up, take that responsibility and move forward.
There are some salons that promote themselves, obviously, because they are incredibly eco-friendly and they've built all the furniture in that respect. But there is no reason why other businesses can't adopt various different elements, based on what we know today. There's just no reason why you can't attract or promote those sort of the qualities that an environmental consumer would want.
Absolutely. What's the first step they would take, Millie? So somebody's watched this video and they've said, right, I need to make a change. I'm reopening my salon next week, or I'm starting to buy my Christmas products for everybody that's, probably be beauty based. What's the first thing that they can do in order to start pushing this initiative forward and working together?
I really do think it's about the conversation. So I do think it's about, the packaging's not going to change overnight. What is written on the packaging is not going to change overnight. You're not going to go in and go, oh, do you know what? I'm getting rid of all the chairs and all the backwashes and I'm going to have everything, sustainable. That's not going to happen. Let's not be unrealistic. That would be ridiculous. We're just not going to be able to do that. There are cost implications to all of those things. So what we need to do is start having the conversation with our customer, our client, and our staff to say, what can we do to make our business more sustainable and in turn more profitable? Let's start having that conversation. Let's download the report. I mean, in 2 weeks, we had 700 downloads of that report. I mean, that is astounding. You know, let's download the report. Let's make this available to our consumers. Let's engage our consumers in conversation. What would they like to see us do? You know, maybe you make arrangements with TerraCycle. Maybe if you're a brand, you start talking to Provenance, who help you to promote your supply chain credentials. There are different things that you can do as a business, but the most important thing for me is to engage with the consumer, because they are the ones that have shown that this is what they would like you to do moving forward. So, you know, engage with them, let them know what you're doing, have a conversation with them, ask them what they want. I always think it's at those like little steps, like you said, email the receipt, you know, what would you like me to do? You know, do you want to wash your hair before you come to the salon? Think little things that just can make a difference.
There's like water restrictions you can get on your taps, aren't there? So less water is used during backwash. There is, like you say, moving from plastic to paper when you're using disposables in the business. Things that can be
light
reused,
bulbs, you know,
rather than cotton pads and cotton buds. Can you use flannels that can be washed in a
I mean, PPE is going to be a big thing for us, because basically we have to have an exorbitant amount of PPE. Do you know what you should be doing? You should be taking the string off the masks and separating those. My daughter's convinced that, she said to me something about how it's like the ring pulls on a can. That, you know, if those get caught up in with, you know, that's dangerous. So little things like that. And also, I don't know, it's just those little baby steps. It's just look around your environment. What can you do to make it better and to make it clearer? And I think, sorry.
I was going to say, as you get more established working with those first steps, then you can take on, you know, a slightly higher challenge and a bigger challenge, and you can start moving forward a little bit more, because it's a process, isn't it? It's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to totally transform your business or your lifestyle from your current consumption levels to a totally eco-friendly way of living. But those steps can be taken gently to fit in with your business model without having to take away your current product line, or your, like you say, your furniture.
You know what? It makes you feel so good. I actually changed the light bulbs at home, and they're because of the nature of the light bulb, they don't go bright immediately. It takes them a little while to kind of build up. My daughter went, "There's something wrong in the kitchen, Mum. The light's not." She just flipped the switch, and I was like, "No, wait, watch it. Watch what happens to the light bulb." You know, everything's a bit of a sort of process. And so in order to make yourself energy efficient, you know, there's little things that you can do, but it does make you feel good. You know, I think the stat was 41% of consumers feel guilty about their environmental impact. Let's start by reducing that number. You know, 41% of people feel guilty. Well, let's not feel guilty. Let's just do lots of little things that make us feel better. You know, let us be great to be able to sleep at night and go, you know what? I had a really low energy day. You know, I didn't consume that much energy. Isn't that amazing?
Exactly.
You know, I'm not saying add solar panels to your ceiling overnight, you know, or, you know, to your roof. But, you know, if we make those tiny little steps, we get to where we need. Sorry, I'm very sniffy today. I've got a terrible cold coming on. It's not COVID, I promise.
I think it's called Millie works incredibly hard.
I just do. I mean, I have to, you know, I do what I do though at the weekend is like, I do the same thing personally. I reserve all my energy at the weekend and I sleep like a log at the weekend. And I go for long walks, and I do a lot of lying on the sofa, binge watching television, because I think I put out so much energy during the week that by the weekends I actually need to recharge my own battery.
You hibernate.
I sort of do. I quite
Yes,
like it. I mean, I quite like the
I'm
sort of
very
that
similar.
cycle of like 5 days full on,
Full
you know,
on, give it everything you
15,
got.
18-hour days sometimes.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes I do sleep Margaret Thatcher hours, but I'm not anything like her, thank God. But I do sleep those hours. But yeah. But I mean, we all need to sort of recharge our batteries, don't we? I think.
Self-care, hugely important, particularly this year more than ever. Well, Millie,
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us today. It's been
Lovely to
invaluable.
see you again.
Many people, you too. First of all, everybody who's watching, please go to the British Beauty Council website. The report is free to download. It's incredibly comprehensive. It's very, very well presented and incredibly easy to consume. And in a time where there is so much negativity out there, let's look how we can all move forward in a positive manner to move our businesses to a more sustainable way, a more healthy way, a more forward-thinking way, so we can live on a better planet and grow our businesses into a happy and healthy 2021. Millie, again, thank you. We appreciate your time. I know how busy you are.
Thank you so much to you and Timely for having me. Thank you. Lovely to chat to you this morning.
Wonderful, wonderful to see you. Now I'm just gonna say bye-bye on the live call. Thanks everyone for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.